Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is James Petrie, and welcome to this brief, about 10 or so minutes introduction for what we have going on with the Widget International Inspection, Testing, and Maintenance Program. So, we recently issued you a checklist in regards to the three different types of fire systems, the Energen, the wet, and the dry system that you have at your facility. We're going to go over a little bit of that information today. Brief introduction to myself, James Petrie. I am the head program designer for the ITM program for your facility. Various backgrounds, EHS manager background, military fire department background, and slight inspection background that got me into creating the actual procedures and programs like we are doing for your company. So, a couple things that we are going to talk about. Within the inspection, testing, and maintenance program, NFPA compliance. So the obligation of the employer to provide a workplace free of hazards is the OSHA compliance, and overall just general, hey, we need to make sure that our employees are safe. The NFPA compliance, that gets into the fire protection, emergency egress, also housekeeping, training, inspections, and all the documentation. So we want to make sure, let's hit this first one. So housekeeping, everything has to be neat and orderly. This shows many different things to an inspector. If you have things piled in front of your fire suppression systems, if you have ladders, if you have trash, if you have garbage, if you have storage in front of these areas, that means they're not readily available. If I know that you're not ensuring that your place is free of these types of housekeeping hazards to stop people from getting to the various fire protection systems, that means that there's probably some other things too. So we'll learn about continuous improvement as we go on. The training is also big. So this is the first step. You guys have come to us. We are building this program for you. We were going to help you get to where you need to be, so there are no worries. We will always be there. You have our cell phone numbers. You have our emails. We are there for you. So inspections, testing, and maintenance. One of the key things is documentation. So you guys learn that from what's going on within your company. You have these citations. We need to document every log, every inspection, every maintenance program. Everything has to be documented. So let's get into some of the actual systems and talk about what we need to inspect, the differences between the two, the wet and the dry, and then we're going to get into the Energen later. So the wet and dry system. So you see here, this is not URLs, but this is a good picture, overall background of what we have going on. So the wet is going to be on the left here. So there's actual water in the system. What we're looking for here, these are going to be used in areas such as your high bays that aren't exposed to weather. There's no freeze hazards. There's water in these pipes at all times. So as soon as one of the nozzles busts, you have water coming out. So that's going to run through the risers, the wet alarm valve station. There's test lines. There's OS and Y valves that we're going to go over. If you can see here, you guys look up at the screen, there are various valves. So these OS and Y valves, we're going to be more familiar with it. They are manual valves. They need to be open in these systems. So one thing that we found in the pictures and during the inspections, as they are open, but they need to be locked open. So we need to get the chain system. Hopefully you have a lockout tagout system within your company. If not, we'll provide you with that information so that you can provide this to your employees, to your managers, to your supervisors, and therefore we can lock these and make sure that they're open. This is a safety concern and an NFPA concern because we want to make sure that these valves cannot be shut. If these valves are shut, there's going to be no water flow, the fire is going to be out of control, and the system is not in compliance. So there are various things that we need to check. Sprinkler pumps, we need to make sure that the pumps are running. So this is something that a lot of companies, and I know that we have discussed before, you all are interested in contracting some of this stuff out. So various companies like to have maintenance professionals do a lot of this. Be familiar with it. Just learn enough to where you're very familiar, you can run it. But the inspection side of it, we talked about contracting. I do think that that's a good idea. So you're getting someone, a subject matter expert, to come in here, or a SME, to come in and ensure that everything is compliant. So they're going to be in charge of their documentation. Therefore, we talked about document. You need to have that information as well. So the wet systems, they always have water. So if you look over to the right, we got orange color over here. This is different. So sometimes these are more complicated. Sometimes they're exposed to more harsher environments. So therefore, you're going to have to take extra care of them. So what that means is that where the orange is, there is no water in those systems. There's nitrogen, some kind of gas to ensure that the valve stays open around where you see on this screen the dry alarm valve station. So that, excuse me, sorry. That's going to be force closed from that air. So if the sprinkler head busts, it's going to release that air, and therefore the water will be able to flow out because that valve is going to open. When that valve opens, we're going to have flow. So same thing here. All these valves, they were open. They need to be locked open to ensure compliance, ensure that there's not going to be an emergency, and then you don't have water. So municipal water flows into these a lot. We need to make sure that we have enough water, the flow is right, and this is going to be done during those annual inspections where we're going to have contractors come in and do this. So we're doing flow tests. We're making sure the gallons per minute are correct. We're making sure that the pressures along with gallons per minute are all in accordance with where we need them to be. So these checklists are provided for what needs to be inspected. We just sent that to you as well. So make sure that you go over that information and have somebody within your facilities and maintenance ensuring that all of this stuff is getting done. And like we said, document. Energen. So we have this. You all have this in your facility as well. This is an incredible system. It's a dry gaseous system. It's an inert gas. It's a fire suppressant. So what this system is going to be, it's a little bit more complex. There's some hazards to it, but there also are some pros to it. So this isn't going to be water. It's not going to get all over your x-ray machine. So if there is a fire in there, it's going to preserve this. It's going to save this. I don't know if you guys know how fire is created. So there's a fire tetrahedron. So there are 4 different things that creates fire: fuel, heat, oxygen, and chemical reaction or mechanical agitation. If you take one of those things away, you cannot have water. So this inert gas, Energen gas, copyrighted, this is a suppressant, and it's an O2 displacement. So it pushes the oxygen in the air below 15%. During these, they're going to be tested. There's got to be compliance with it, and we need to make sure that these checklists are documented. It goes below 15%, but the thing about this is that it doesn't actually harm humans inside, because you would think, well, what if it takes away all the oxygen? Then I can't breathe. Well, this actually carries CO2 in it, which allows humans to carry more oxygen. So we're checking these tanks. We're making sure that all the valves are shut. We're making sure that we have monitoring in this area as well. We don't want gas leaks. We want to make sure that the pressure valves and the pressure gauges are always efficient and giving us the right information to make sure that they're always full. So the checklist provided will give you everything that you need to inspect in these as well. Corrective action. So we have talked about 2 various, the 3 fire systems that you have. I know this is a quick overview. We want to make sure that you are aware of what's going on within your facility, and we're going to do that by providing corrective actions. So the goal of a safety management system, anything that a management can take care of, it's continuous improvement. So you all are taking this first step. You are pushing us to help you guys. You're allowing us to help you, and we're going to provide you with the right information. You already have the checklist, the corrective actions for your write-ups, exits blocked. So this goes a lot with the housekeeping. So we talked about ladders, we talked about stuff blocking exits. This goes with NFPA 101B. We can't just have exit. This is egress issues, which talks about it in NFPA 101, storage in electrical rooms, NFPA 1. not using electrical rooms for storage because that's not what it's designed for. Lacking maintenance plans, records. We know we got to document. That's established in NFPA 19 or 1600. I'm sorry. And like we said, so the continuous improvement, that's our goal. We're providing you with these checklists. We want to make sure that we are using these checklists to establish proper guidance, push this information to your employees, push it. We want to follow up. So safety is dual-sided. We want to make sure that we have compliance initiatives out there, policies, procedures, but we also need to check. It's like babysitting. I bring this up during all of our training. If you would send your kid to clean their room and say, go upstairs and clean your room, and you wouldn't come check them, 2 or 3 times later, they're probably going to stop. So you have to be able to back those up. You have to be able to audit. You have to be able to inspect to ensure that management's committed, but also your employees are committed as well. So you have the right tools, the right information. We're going to get you to where you need to be with your checklist. Follow them, ensure the compliance, and here are references for today's class. So NFPA 25, Standards for Inspection, Testing, Maintenance, as well as NFPA 2001, Inspection, Servicing, Testing, and Maintenance. So appreciate you guys for coming, listening to me. Hopefully we can get together soon again and go over some more information. So I do appreciate it, and that is all for me. So if you have any questions, concerns, stay after class. I'll be here. Talk to you soon.